Okay, welcome. This is Andy Lee Graham, and I'm in San Pedro La Laguna, Lake Atalan, Guatemala. One of the best climates on the planet, because at 5,000 feet up in the air in the tropics, as higher you go, it each reaches a level where it's always about 72 degrees. That's about 1,500 meters. But anywhere between 1,300 to 1,500 is pretty great climate. Okay, today I'm going to talk about friends and how to find friends. And I go live at the same time. That way, sometimes I get some really great ideas and suggestions and some feedback. And it's always nice to get feedback, right? You always can learn from people, right? Um, but friends is a very important thing. And finding friends when you travel. I've been traveling nonstop for 25 years in 114 countries. So it's life at 5 times, 10 times the speed. Okay. It's high speed life. All the problems are 5 times more. All the friendships are 5 times more. Everything happens 5 times faster. If, well, for me, I'm very good at keeping things pretty slow, but my life is pretty good. So I'm writing a book about my Andy lives in an alternate reality, a tribe of one in 25 years in 100 plus countries. And it's going to be kind of a textbook type how to emotionally live abroad. Uh, what people kind of don't understand is if you really loved a place, you would go back again and again and again, and you wouldn't go home eventually. But the problem is this, is that like I've lived in 100 plus countries, right? So because each country has a different culture, a different place, a different problem, you have to always adapt emotionally. It's not a money problem, it's an emotional problem. So you have to be able to rock and roll and deal with all the problems that you think. But the friendship problem is the big one if you're going to be a perpetual traveler and leave and not return home. I'm always laughing when these expat books or these people write these books on travel and they say, I'm living in paradise. And I said, but if you're really living in paradise, you don't go home. Well, I haven't went home for 25 years, but I do go home to visit. Okay, 25 ways to qualify a friend. Okay, and these are, as you find friends, there's all sorts of little signals. I like to talk about the word tell. It's a poker saying because you can, like a wink of the eye, or there's a tell, there's a signal that you have good friends. The first problem you always have with friends is tone of voice. If they have a bad tone of voice, just turn around and walk away. Okay, that's the first thing I almost always do. Or they could start complaining about your country in the first sentence. But finding good friends. One lie can destroy a marriage. One lie can destroy a business. Uh, but often we tolerate hundreds of lies daily from our acquaintances and friends. Why is that? In a way, I believe that we should expect them as much out of a friend as we do out of a wife or husband. Okay. Do you want? But at the end of the day, you are also the example for your children. So, do you want your children to grow up to be a irreputable person, a bad person, a problem child? Okay. Lies to make people happy is the most common problem. Everybody right now has become so wimpy that they cannot tell people the truth. They can't sit there and say, we just had a water problem in the hotel, and I was going, Maria, I said, I'm going to keep talking until you get the water to work. And I'm very nice, but I'm going to keep talking and asking what's going on until the water worked. So the water line was full of air, and it was, not a big deal. But people will say anything to keep anybody happy, and they believe this is a thing. I believe that the minute you do that, you destroy your reputation, you destroy your ability to be a business person, you destroy your whole life by these little petty lies. But if you want to make money, what are you selling? When I sold real estate, I'll never forget the building commissioner, what was his name, James Mishner or something. He said, Andy, your opinion is of proprietary value. That means that if I give one lie, they will never trust me. So as a true traveler, as one of the world's most experienced travelers. I believe I'm probably in the top 25 as far as experience. There's a lot of people gone to 100 countries. Few people have lived in 100 countries. So if you know somebody that's actually lived and never went home, doesn't have a house, the minute they have a house or an apartment, they're not a perpetual traveler. The minute that they rent something by the year, they're not a perpetual traveler. That's the signal. Okay, but when I'm selling you my opinion, and I get rewarded in Patreon and things like that because I won't lie, okay? But I'm a purist. I'm a guy that believes in things. I've been studying a lot of, I'm writing a book about Henry David Thoreau and kind of how his life is similar to my life. And he was obnoxiously like a saint in a way. His essay on civil disobedience was his disagreeing with the society as a whole. But you were selling trust, whether it's in friendship, love, husband, wife, or business. It's all, if you are a trustworthy, upright person, life is easy. If you're not, everything's complicated. But what's happening right now is it seems like the culture is turning to, instead of the greatest generation, we've turned into the anything goes. Anything goes. Anything you'll buy, it goes. I mean, you even see this on the news. But the anything goes is the opposite of trust. So they'll say anything. I mean, the politicians will say absolutely anything. This is the first time I ever seen this. I was in Ghana. And I sit there, and the president of Ghana was just talking. I go, what are they saying? And they speak English there, right? It's kind of a British colony. And it was just one bull of crap at it. But people want to believe the lies, right? But we're going to talk about getting friendship. And you have to do it if you want to have a great life. If anything goes, what would I do? I would rob a bank. Screw this. If it's okay, there's no need for rule of law. We don't need to develop countries. We don't need to become better people. Why don't I just go rob a bank? I was laughing. There's a song by Jimmy Buffett, Why Don't We Get Drunk and Screw? And I really like Jimmy Buffett, but I was thinking, a lot of the music has moved people towards this idea of, instead of being romantic music, it's what I can get away with music. And that's the hip hop, rap. All this music is, I remember being in Belize and I couldn't believe what they were saying on this song. I was like going, well, who plays this kind of song in a restaurant? I got the song here. Let's get, I thought it was somebody else sang this. We used to sing it in O'Sullivan's in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Why don't we get drunk and screw? It's just a fun song, but it's in a way one too many chips, right? Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young had a song, Teach Your Children Well. And that, to me, I had an Argentina girlfriend. We were in Brazil, and she was dancing like a stripper. And I said, would you like your daughter to dance like that? And she went back in her room, and she thought about it. She goes, you're right. I would not want my daughter dancing like I was dancing. And I said, always be an example to your children, even if you don't have children. But the thing that we're going to talk about today is discernment, which is a biblical thing. And it's I always say I'm Betazoid, right? I'm from the planet Betazoid, and I'm Star Trek Next Generation, and Deanna Troi is my sister, okay? She had this ability. She's an empath, and she could feel what other people feel. And that, to me, is the goal, to feel the pain or the situation, to put myself in the shoes of another person, to love thy neighbor as himself, right? But discernment is the ability to perceive, recognize, and distinguish between different elements or qualities, particularly when it comes to making sound judgments or decisions. Okay, so one of the greatest things we could ever learn about is how to make a great decision on choosing friendships, or even acquaintances, or people to do business with. It's the ability to attract good by being good. And the easy way to do this is to get rid of the absolute obvious problem children, the bad people on the planet. I mean, I don't know how many times somebody comes up and starts talking to me in a really sarcastic thing. I got trolls on my website, and they don't understand. Why would I go to step 2 with a troll? I don't even want to get near them. they might rub off on me. You get rid of the obvious, okay? What we should morally approve of your husband, wife, boss, and your best friends and your friends. A lot of this comes down to, do you approve morally of your mother and father? Was your mother and father a good example? If they were a bad example, you're probably a bad example. But we can change our stars. I left the United States to construct and create and reboot a new Andy Lee Graham. I started over and I wiped away the slate. I made everything so simple. I said no to everything. And I lived in a room for like $10 a day. And I said, I'm going to be the best man possible. When I stopped drinking 37 years ago, it was the same thing. I would keep my mouth closed, because if I opened my mouth and accidentally said something, I would say, I'll beat you, and then I wouldn't meet him. It was horrible. But how do we use good blocks? What are the blocks that I construct Andy with? It's good people in my life. So we really are known by the friends we keep. I use good friends to build me, Andy Lee Graham. But actually right now it's almost, it's amazing here in Lake Etalan. They'll tell you their first name. They act like their last name's a big secret, like everybody's after them. They're afraid of the world. And that's a problem. I mean, anything goes. I don't have to commit to you. Very few people are willing to be friends anymore. They expect you to love an asshole. How to not be an asshole. That's how to get friends. How to be lovable. How to be brave. Love is one of the universals. I always say, love is not leaving. One of the problems I had when I first took off traveling is my friends didn't like the fact that I had a different life. They felt like I was betraying them by leaving. My friend Mike even says, you don't even speak English accent anymore. You don't speak like Indiana boy. You speak like something else. I've pretty much removed all the slang from my world, right? And but love is never leaving. So I will say that's the definition of love. But a friendship is, I got some really interesting statistics I read in Wall Street Journal, then I found out the real source. If you cannot be hurt and you're not willing to be hurt, you can't have friends, wives, or husbands. Relationships are guaranteed to hurt you. There's an acronym acronym. Love, lots of varied emotions, okay? You are the same as the 5 people that you spend your life with. Your 5 best friends, if you look at them, that is who you are. I don't care what you do. If you take your 5 best friends and put them in a room, and you look at them, and you don't like who they are, guess what? You are the same as them. Because it rubs off. You become whatever you're around. It's like being in southern states, like in, I don't know, Louisiana. You start saying y'all, right? Or in New Jersey, you say New Jersey. Okay, we take on the accents of the places we're at. Anybody you spend time with become, but it's kind of garbage in, garbage out, right? That's a computer term, but if you let garbage people come in, you're going to have garbage people come out of you. Okay. The opinions of a friend is the building blocks to construction of the minds of humans. Andy Lee Graham. Types of friends. We got all different types of friends. And I did a thing on that AI thing, and I said, give me 50 types of friends. It's at the bottom of the Google Docs. I'll put in the description. They're amazing, all the different types of friends, but they didn't really do a deep dive. AI is the lack of, it's not a human, okay? It definitely doesn't have any intimate moments, and it's very woke, too. Okay, I got types of friends. Time spent, just time spent friends. There's the time you spend is the most important element of friendship. If you spend 500 hours with a person, you are going to rub off. I always say, how do you get rich? You hang around with rich people. How do you get sober? You hang around with sober people. How do you get drunk? You hang around with drunk people. Anything you hang around with, you become, because you're complicit, you accept it. Friends have $200. Okay. You have friends that you've known for 200 hours that you don't trust. You've spent 200 hours at work with these people and you never trusted them. You've got friends that you spend 200 hours with that you trust. You may just be calling them a work colleague, but you do trust them and you feel they're very dependable. And a very dependable worker is worth its weight in gold. I had one rule in my business in Indiana. I said, in Fort Wayne, Indiana, you show up at 8 o'clock. And they had, 1 in 5 got fired just because they couldn't show up at 8 o'clock in the morning. That's the only rule I knew that I would enforce no matter what. Okay. Then you got the best of friends is somebody that you can, when you're having a bad day, you can say, not asking for sympathy, but asking them, I'm having this problem, talk about it. I just called up my friend Debbie and we were talking about my sister coming down because it's a little taxing to me. But we have brutes. I was laughing the other night about, New Year's Eve, they stayed up all night talking. We're in this, in the kind of hotel where if you're in a hotel and every window faces a courtyard, all the noise comes right in. It's not the best design for a hotel. It's very, very beautiful, but this hotel is like a cave and they're talking in a cave down below and they stayed up all night. Now, I didn't say anything on New Year's because I thought, hey, good time, let the Guatemalans. 2 nights ago, these guys, 2 o'clock, they're brutes. That's what the term I use for people that have no empathy. They just expected us to deal with their noise. This is a brute. But if you want to be an executive, what you're going to do is be selling dependability and your word, the way you make decisions. That's what we get paid for, a good decision. I made over $100,000 selling real estate. I didn't get to keep any of it really because I kept investing in strange little things in my business. But I sold like 80 houses a year. I had a lot of spinning and nothing was simple. And so I was really happy to travel. But good friends, good people make money without having many problems. If you have trouble making money, normally it's because you're not a dependable person. But the University of Kansas professor in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships, what a name, Journal of Social and Personal Relationships, Jeffrey Hall, said 50 hours of knowing somebody is a casual friend and acquaintance. He's going to wrap this all up in time. This is really a great thing to think. How many hours on the ground have you spent with your friends? Okay, 50 hours is an acquaintance. This is Jeffrey Hall from the University of Kansas, University of Kansas. 50 hours, 90 hours is a simple friend, just a friend. 200 hours is a close friend. So when you spend 200 hours with a person you don't trust, try to think about that. Why are you spending 2 hours with a person? Because you are learning how to construct your person. You are constructing you. Malcolm Gladwell talks about this. We have to choose how we construct our brain. That was in the Wall Street Journal, and I was laughing because I found it in the Wall Street Journal. And then I always do a search because they always want me to, they got a paywall, so I always do a search for the word. And I found out these writers in the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times, they get somebody else that does a study, then they write about the study. They don't actually do the study, so they're just writing. So it's secondhand information. It takes 200 hours to make a close friendship and more to maintain it. How much time does it take? I had a friend that was going to stop in Orland, Indiana when I was there for 2 hours. And I just said, you might as well just stay on the road, okay? Because if you're not willing to just hang out for he had unlimited time. I said, I have no value to you, so I'm not going to give you value. He doesn't understand that, but he looks at everything as like a business. If a friend of mine won't hang on, we'll get to this. I've got 25 or 30 points on what I expect out of a friend. It takes time to maintain friends. My friend Jojo, I asked him, he had 12 kids, and I said, how do you have enough money? He says, Andy, it's not about time. It's not about money for children. It's the time. You got to give people time. Working to keep a relationship is logistically tough, but good physically, mentally, and emotionally. I mean, without our friends, I'm always laughing when somebody acts like Donald Trump. Donald Trump has thousands of workers. Okay, even Mark Zuckerberg, which I really don't like, has thousands and thousands of workers. You can't have billions of dollars without influencing thousands of people. Um, Generally, most people are only want to be responsible for themselves. I had this guy, Tom, that was up in Midland, Michigan, and I was keeping him busy in this. We had this factory like thing, and I only had a couple employees, and it was winter. And he says, "Andy, I have to take care of my family, my wife, and children." I finally said, "Tom, I got to take care of me. You're laid off, okay?" Because I was keeping him busy, and he didn't appreciate that, right? Um, I wrote a book. Oh, I got to show you. I wrote a book about this. Is so important to me. I had a friend that I thought didn't really understand how to make friends, and Dale Carnegie wrote a book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, which is a really excellent book, and I've read it like 2 or 3 times. Oh, I bent the pages. Oh, this is horrible. Shouldn't bend the pages. But it in every single thing I listened to the book and read it when I was in Costa Rica, in San Jose, Costa Rica, again, and just to make sure before I wrote this book. All he talks about is how to win a relationship when you're already talking to him. So this is like the chapter he didn't include. It's called Pocket Guide to Meeting New People. It's extremely simple, okay? And that's what everybody's gonna. It's a strategy, and strategies that work are extremely simple. A lot of people don't understand that something that really works just doesn't even seem like it's. Why would I pay for that? It's just common sense. Common sense is uncommon, but one of my greatest ones is sharing popcorn. If you walk down the street with popcorn or something you can share and you just offer it to a girl, she just goes, "Oh, thank you." I mean, you can open up any conversations with a bag of popcorn. Man, my book is, I accidentally folded it up. I also have it with my new picture book, Travel, by Andy Lee Graham. I really like you to buy these 2 books. The other 2 books, somehow Ingram Spark has put them in their name and I'm not earning any money. But I'm going to be writing about an 800-page book. It's going to be almost like a textbook to travel. But I'm going to keep focusing. Travel is an emotional problem. When I bring up my dragon, and I've been carrying around this dragon, right? Where is my dragon? Oh, what is in there? There's something in there. Oh, hi, Micah. This is my flying dragon. When you get to the end of the world, the reason why you don't arrive at the end of the world is because of emotional dragons. So travel is about the emotional dragons. The reason why people go home is they haven't conquered the emotional dragons. They have culture shock, culture fatigue. They're angry. They're uncomfortable. They haven't adapted. They are not. So travel, to go, each country you go to, you have to adapt. And this is where people sort of lose it. They think that they could just go there and they can use the exact same social rules, social constructs that they use in the United States, and it don't work. Okay, this book has 25 ideas, and I'll be putting in the second edition soon when I get 24. They're just real simple ideas, and it's really meant to be extremely small. So you see this young lady over there, and you go, "Man, that girl is my type of girl." And you can go to the things, and you already read it, so you go to the beginning, all the chapter names, and you say, "Let's see, what one can I use for this girl?" But it's the chapter that should have been in How to Win Friends and Influence People. He assumes that you already got an introduction. It's the introduction at the heart. Sorry, like permission granted social events. I can go to a cocktail party where everybody's expected to talk to you. That's how I can meet somebody, right? You can, let's see, what would I use on that girl? Popcorn. I always use popcorn. Sit close to people. When I walk into a restaurant, I look around and I'm with these 2 guys and they go, "Where do you want to sit?" "Over there." And I go, "Are you guys insane? You guys went gay on me, right?" I said, "There's 3 beautiful women there, our ages. Let's kind of go sit close to them." And we overhear each conversation. Next thing you know, we're talking. There's all sorts of some really good ideas in here. But if you can open up a conversation, then you kick in How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. The links are in the this doc that I'll be putting in the link, and I'll be putting this in the book too, because meeting people is the secret. How do you travel for 25 years and stay emotionally well? Friends, you live comfortably, you live within your means, and you adapt. Okay, but the biggest thing you have to do is be self-entertaining. Like I watch movies, I read books, I meet people, I like to cook, I do have hobbies, I invent things even. I actually had this shirt made here with it's got a little collar on it. It's my African collar style. And I got 7 white shirts, which you guys would think was the opposite of what you should have for travel. No, you should dress in the happiness that you want to be inside the United States. Why would you get depressing and wear black when you go abroad? And if you're going to be a pig and wear black, that's really kind of the opposite of thing. Um, I cut my fingernails. How to Turn Complete Strangers into Friends by Andy Lee Graham. Okay, I want to inspire you to become an expert at having friends. I have a Patreon link in here where people can pay $5 or $25. The $5 is so that you can be on Zoom meetings with me and have discussions. Finding good friends, but nobody is perfect. And nobody's going to do all these things perfect. That is anal. When somebody says, Andy, you said this, then I said, but you knew what I meant. And I go, if I say it the wrong way and you're correcting me and you already know what I mean, why are you correcting me? But this is the world we live in right now. Everybody wants to cancel everybody, even their good friends. To be a good friend, you have to be, to have a good friend, you have to be a good friend. One thing about me being an Alcoholics Anonymous is I have no choice. Part of the bargain of staying sober is that you remove the monkey from your back, the guilt, the shame, the problems, this little inner turmoil, this hole in your chest where the wind's blowing through but it never fills up. And how do you do that? You become a better spiritual person. You become a better person. The better a person I am, the more I like me. The more I like me, the happier I am, the less I'm going to drink, right? But you can't expect you cannot expect what you don't inspect. I had the wrong word. You can't expect what you don't respect. That's what the word had. Inspect yourself. Always weigh yourself. Am I treating people the way I would like to be treated? Okay, Candace Owens for president. I want to say that. I'm going to bring this up in every video. I really want Candace Owens to be a first female president, and I think Joe Rogan should be vice president. Or they could do it the other way, but I would rather have Candace. I don't really think Joe Rogan smoking dope on there with Elon Musk is a great idea. One of the things about James Michener, he understood, he's one of the best travelers ever. He wrote books about it. And I'm going to be making a video about the 10 best travel books. And he's got 2 of them. If you reject the food, ignore the customs, fear the religion, avoid the people, you might better stay home. James Michener. Travel is about emotionally dealing with people. If you can't deal with people in your hometown, you're not going to be able to deal with them at 5 times the speed. We have to become emotionally strong and actually enjoy meeting people. That is travel. Okay, so I'm going to go through a lot of points. I got about, how many do I got here? I got 26. Okay, and this is what I expect from my friends. And I'm not going to get all 25, right? And they're not going to get all 25 from me. I remember somebody called me up in real estate one time, and I answered. I was really grumpy, and she goes, man, you was having a bad day. Like 3 weeks later, you're a really nice guy. What happened on the first day I called you? I said, I don't know. I just had a bad day. I woke up, and I was grumpy. But if you're going to be grumpy, don't answer the phone, right? Okay, first thing I expect out of a friend is tone of voice. I want to hear them have a happy tone of voice. Seems like a small thing, right? There's people that are continually talking in a snarky, sarcastic way. Just say no. Why do you start a friendship with somebody that's always going to talk? It's like bad music, right? I would expect the 5 C's. Number 2, I want a caring, conscientious, continuous communication. I want caring. Conscientious is a very big deal with me. If you say you're going to do something, you better do it. At least stay in commit, and you got to be caring about it. You got to be in continuous communication with me if you're going to be my friend. I don't want to sit there and think that I'm going to have to play. I call you up and I just never know if you're going to answer the phone, right? I know this friend of mine. If a person don't pick up the phone, they don't answer a message with me after 3 times, I erase them because they don't care about me. They told me with their actions. Stop it. That's probably WhatsApp. Um, Show up and don't cancel. My friends are very dependable. I'm very dependable. I show up and they don't cancel all the time. I had a guy the other day said, "Well, I'll try to be there," and I sit there and I go, "Well, what's that mean?" Well, screw you. I don't care whether you show up or not. I'm not even going to, I mean, if I decide not to go, I'm not going to go, right? He's acting like I'll go, and if I want to show up, I'll do it. This is absolutely a control freak, okay? You be a deliberate person. You say, I'll be there or I won't be there, okay? Um, this always idea like we're on vacation, but you're too busy. Kind of amazing. I better shut off the, what do you call it, the internet. Okay, I shut off the internet and that won't work. But they want to show up 9 out of 10 times. I have zero problems arranging to go do things with them. They're making firecrackers on Lake Athlon. They think they take the little ones and put them together and make a big one. Okay, number 4, divorced parents. Of course, it's going to have 50% of the population is going to have a divorced parent. But if I had my druthers, I want them to have a good family life. I want them to have married parents. My parents stayed married for about 65 years, and everything wasn't bliss. My father had affairs when he was younger. He did all sorts of crazy stuff, and he went right to the bottom line where mom was going to file a divorce. But they worked it out, and that's what friendships do. Divorced parents, divorce is a failure, and a person that won't say a divorce is a failure, I really have trouble with. Fingernails. If they let their fingernails or toenails grow, I just can't take it. Okay, I do not understand why people let their fingernails grow. And their shirt and clothing. They can wear black clothing. They're depressing. I said, you wear a T-shirt 5 days in a row. I don't want to talk to you. You stink. A lot of travelers believe that they have a right to become a pig when they travel. How you do anything is how you do everything. How you do anything is how you do everything. Okay, people that walk around with headsets in their ears, they got earplugs in their ear all the time. They don't really, they actually believe that they can think and do and walk and chew gum and work. And they do everything badly. How you do anything is how you do everything. If you think that you can talk to me, play on your phone and do that, you don't know who you are, okay? Most people are not that smart. I'm a very smart guy, but I'm not going to do it. Why? Because the person I'm talking to deserves me to listen. If they don't, I deserve them to listen to me. To have a friend, they take a space of time. They don't try to do 2 things at the same time. Anybody that's divorced from their husband or wife, I always have a problem with that. You introduce yourself with your full name. You say, my name is Andy Lee Graham. You introduce me to your friends. You take great pride in knowing that people care about their friends. One of the things, the hints in how to win friends and influence people in Dale Carnegie is what you'd always do is like say their name. Hey, Dale, how are you? Aren't you, Dale, what have you been doing? You always use their name. People like to hear their name. They want to be appreciated. It's universal. And if you don't know your name, you obviously don't appreciate them. If you don't know their second name, they don't appreciate you. Nobody appreciates anybody. It's like Charlie Foxtrot. They know how to introduce themselves formally. That means I was trying to teach these guys at a copper mine. I was teaching English, and they were executives. And I said, you have to learn how to introduce yourself to a CEO if you go to the United States, especially the women. You're going to have to be very, very careful because these guys had zero respect. They were brutes. And I said, I told one guy, you deserve to get fired. Okay, if this is not serious, you deserve to be fired. He goes, how can you say that? My job is to teach you how to communicate. He says, but you're teaching me English. No, I said, I'm teaching you how to communicate. I want my friends to walk in the room and smile at everybody and acknowledge them. I want them to return emails. Eye contact with everybody in the room. My friends are people I instinctually trust. There's a big one. Tone of voice and instinctually trust is a big deal. I'll never forget Pom, which means moon in Thai. She kept taking all my food and keeping my change. And I said to my friend Sutip, I said, I trust this girl, but why does she keep taking my extra change? He said, well, you're going to have to go talk to her father now. And I go, why? Everybody in the village knows that you're a nice guy. You got to go talk to her father about marrying her. You've proven to us that you're a generous, nice person. But I instinctually knew that I trusted her. Number 14, can apologize. Had a lot of problem with this last year. I had a girl that I was dating. She says, apologies are a sign of weakness. I said, no, there's times when it's penance and it's a commitment to say that I did something wrong. And of course, we're no longer dating because she was mentally difficult, right? Read books, that's an optional one. I think people that read books, watch movies, and self-entertaining. I like people that have like entertaining. It's like my favorite girlfriend is a person that says, let's get in our pajamas and watch a movie and pop popcorn. I like them to be religious. My friends to be at least be very respectful of religion. Anybody that says they're an atheist, I almost know that it's hopeless. Not that I don't understand atheism. I've been most of my life probably agnostic or something. I don't know what I am. The thing is that I'm not going to be disrespectful to 90% of the planet, okay? And that's what people are often that are demanding to be atheists. I'll never forget Peter in Iraq. He kept telling everybody he's atheist. And I said tonight, they were so serious, they would come up and they would draw a cross on their hand and point at you. They wanted to know instantly whether you're a Christian. He'd say, I'm atheist. I said, they just want to believe in God. And I said, you're trying to get us killed. But he always was just snarky. His tone of voice was snarky. He was a real twat, a wanker. And that's British slang. He's from Britain. Family person, married, wife, and children. Number 19, good relationship with mother and father. Now, this is the ideal. Anymore, if I meet a girl and she's not having a good relationship with her mother and father, it's just a no-go. If she has a divorce, it's almost a no-go. I'd rather have their husband die. I mean, if her husband died, then she can get over it. This continual, never-ending anger, you're never going to forgive the person. I mean, the Lord's Prayer says, forgive others as you forgive yourself. I mean, everybody is a practicing atheist, okay? It's a good thing to say, even if there is no God. They love their children and are supportive. If a man or a person I know does not feel a certain responsibility for the children until they die. I never got married, so my mother never stopped. I never could be grown up until I got married. Number 21, meet with no reason to meet. This is a really big deal with me. If a friend of mine says, well, what are we doing? Or a girl I'm dating says, what are we doing? I go, okay, I guess you're too busy. Bye. If the whole priority is if I'm going to pay for a $200 dinner for you, you're going to go with me. I say, okay, you're a prostitute. Okay, so how much do I have to spend to get you to go out on a date with me? It's always like 2 days of sex, date and sex. Guys, take them to McDonald's. Take them to Taco Bell. If they can't have fun, you really don't want them. If it's high maintenance to start out, yeah, it's just not correct. Meet with no reason to meet. My men friends, I don't like them to brag about their love affairs. I think that's really crass. I don't mind them talking about a couple funny ones. But if they're always telling me and showing me pictures of all the girls they've dated, I think it's disrespectful to the girl. Do not brag about being a troll. Okay. I have a friend that bragged about being a troll, and I said, you understand, I don't like trolls. He goes, but I don't know what he said. He said, but I'm not a troll with you. I said, what you do to this, What you do to the waitress is more important to me than how you treat me. If you are treating another person badly, I know that eventually you're going to treat me badly. Uh, does not brag about unjust behavior. There's a lot of people that brag about how they got over on somebody. That's just a no-go. They're just a piece of crap. Get rid of them. If a person wants to, and they got money, if they got, I understand being in desperate things and really fighting to meet payroll or stuff, and there's compromises you make. The Rhinestone Cowboy, the road to, paradise or whatever is, I can't remember the song now. I want all my friends to be an expert on something. I'll say that again. I would like all my friends to have a mastery, self-esteem, and an expert at something that they put their time into. I don't care if it's fishing. I don't care if it's, poker. I don't care what it is, but they're very, very committed, almost obsessive about learning about something, about becoming a better person. Number 26, they respect my expertise. I don't know how many men are in continual competition with me on travel. The minute I say I'm a world traveler, they go, oh, I've been to blah, 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 blah. And I go, okay, guy, most of this is just hokey, right? I maybe, and I think I am one of the top 25 most experienced travelers on the planet. And I don't like to say that. Why don't I like to say that? Because people don't want to be one-upped, okay? But I get people continually want to one-up my travels. And I go, are you silly? I can come up with 10 stories that make you look silly. I said, and when they start getting into that alpha male competition thing, I get rid of them. I mean, my friends that I talk to on a regular basis, we don't have a competition. We are very proud of what the other person's expertise is, right? That's why it's good to have an expertise. They are something that they are really good at. They're very proud. Then they don't try to be good at everything. And that's where the world is right now. Everybody with the internet thinks they're experts at everything, and nobody's an expert at anything. In fact, they can't even read a book anymore. It's a pretty sad situation. The world has turned into, the smartphone has made people some of the dumbest people on the planet. I have 2 computers. I hate smartphones. I have 5 smartphones just because I never break them. I'm smart enough to never break the stupid things. Okay, on the bottom of this thing, I'll be putting it in the description. Sorry about those firecrackers. There's nothing like noise in Guatemala. I mean, there's never a quiet moment. Actually, my hotel is pretty quiet mostly. But ask yourself, 50 hours or less is a casual acquaintance. 90 hours is simple friend. 200 hours together is a close friend. If you're not willing to put time in with a friend, you really don't want to be your friend. If you don't want to put any kind of time in with that friend, why are you going anywhere? Why are you even meeting him? Why are you spending time with him? Is it some sort of mental masturbation? Spend time with people you respect. And a good friend is somebody that you're always going to, the longer you know them, the more you're going to respect them. A good business person you're going to respect. The longer you know them, you're going to respect them. They're going to be talking about good decisions and wisdom. Okay, I'm here and you're not. Why not? I'm in San Pedro La Laguna. Lake Atalan is a beautiful day. And I'm in paradise. Un otro día en paraíso. Now, if we didn't have all these absolutely insane expats, the funnest part about Lake Atalan is we have some absolutely insane people. And they are fun. I can learn what not to be. Okay, life is good, guys. Hit that. I'm always supposed to tell you, please, there's the Patreon link in there. I really need to earn about $650 more because I closed up my business. And I want to go to Tanzania, Africa. I want to go around the tip of things, Johannesburg, and South Africa, and Angola, Cameroon, Gambia, all those countries, get another 20 countries in. And I want to escape these tourism. So become part of a Patreon so I can go someplace that actually challenges me. But that's what life is, a challenge. Without being a challenge, you might as well go home. People that don't want challenges are on the when you want total comfort and you avoid all challenges, you're ready to die. Okay. Bye bye guys. Hit the subscribe button.